Hey, good morning, everybody. It's 7:45. We always get started right on time. I've added several things to the agenda today. Had some exciting developments happen this week, but we are going to start off with our scheduled guest speakers, the Wyakin Foundation. And so I would like to introduce Corey Rodriguez, who's the executive director, and George Nickel, who everybody knows George. And George, your title's escaping me at the moment, but you're in charge of student services over there, I believe. And then Chelsea Miller, who is the one that holds everything together over there as far as I can tell. So I'll go ahead and let you guys take it off.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for that introduction, Mitzi. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. I am in the process of my wonderful morning commute. It's a 5-minute window from where I live of whether you have a glorious morning drive or you're yelling at people. So I'm somewhere in between. But I wanted to let you see my face real quick. But so I am Corey Rodriguez. I am the executive director at the Wyakin Foundation. I'm in my second year. I do have the pleasure of working with George Nickel, who is our most tenured employee. He is the director of Student and Veteran Affairs. And then pretty much Chelsea, Mitzi nailed it with Chelsea. She holds it all together for us. She's the director of our community engagement. So we're very excited to be here today. And I'll kind of try and get to it and just we wanted the opportunity to introduce ourselves. I'm sure if you've been around in the Valley, you've heard of us, at least in the Treasure Valley. At some point, you've heard of the Wyakin Foundation. About a year and a half ago, we made some different, we kind of changed directions in a few things that we did and increased our ability to serve more veterans. Our focus over the course of our 11 years is to help in the transition from the military to civilian life for veterans. When we first started, that kind of was more so for wounded and injured soldiers coming back post 9/11. It's expanded a little bit now. We now include guardsmen and women who are getting out, and we include all veterans who are either looking to go into education, long-term education for a career, or vocational services, skills trade. So it's kind of the 30,000 feet view of what we do. That's simplifying it. Some things about the Wyakin Foundation as a veteran service organization, not just locally, but statewide and nationally. One thing that we pride ourselves on is that we work with our veterans on average about 3.5 years. And so we talk about, we don't even say Wyakin Foundation anymore. We let people know that you're a part of the Wyakin family. And we truly believe in that. We're a high-touch program that involves multiple holistic facets of serving veterans and helping eliminate the barriers that traditionally arise that can affect success, or at least achieving success. And the other thing that we focus on within that success is how the veteran defines it. What everyone else has their own description of success. Our goal is to make sure that they, one, have a quality of life that allows them to be successful, whether it's career, life, or profession. So I would like to let George Nickel, he was a graduate of our second class. He's very involved in the veteran community, proudly served our country. But I'd like to let him kind of tell you a little bit more about the Wyakin Foundation, both from his experience as being in a graduate a Wyakin for Life alumni, and now I think 8 year as our director of student veteran affairs. So George, if you'd like to take a minute, please, kind of give them your story.
Okay, great. Thanks, Corey. Uh, so, like Corey said, I served in the military in both the United States Army active duty, the Air National Guard, the Army Reserves. So, I got the whole gamut of experience. Uh, Now, for myself, I was in the second class in 2012, and I found Wyakin. They started in 2010. They inducted their first class in 2011 with 5 veterans. Uh, And what I found coming out of the military, of course, it was kind of abrupt due to injuries received in Iraq. So kind of had to like reinvent myself. Had a rough transition getting out, and started at BSU as a freshman at 40 years old, and found it to be an alien world that I knew nothing about. And so it really helped having an organization to kind of like help me transition away from uniform service and more into the private sector. And with that, I'd like to talk a little bit about the program uh, and what it offers the veterans in the community. So, if you know a veteran who's looking at transitioning, utilizing education, and to develop a career and a purpose and success as they define it. I mean, transition is very challenging, whether the person's fresh off the military, whether they're still in the military, or they're in a position in their lives where they just feel they need to change and take a different path, and we'd like to help them along that path. So, we have our mission, which is to help veterans with their success and fulfilling civilian futures, and we use that through education, development, and guidance. Now, when a veteran comes in contact with the organization, generally I meet with them first to talk about their military experience and really get a sense of what they're looking for, what route they want to take, and it's all based upon what their future career goals are and what their purpose that they're looking for is. So it's really developing that personal connection up front, building that rapport with the person, making them feel comfortable, and really finding out what their goals are and where they want to go on their path. Uh, so who we are, we have our mission, we have our culture, and you can check those out on wyakin.org and read the full detailed description of those things. But really comes down to what we value here as an organization. And we want to be optimistic for what we do and what the future holds for the veteran in question. We want them to understand that they don't have to be channeled into anything, because sometimes the system can be overwhelming. It's full of bureaucracy, and sometimes there's some bad information out there. So it's really dispelling all that and allowing that person to state what their intended purpose is and what their goals are, and really starting to work with them to move towards those ends. We choose to be collaborative within the community. I mean, we have our mission, which is very focused, and we haven't strayed from that mission since the inception. And it is utilizing education to find future success and fulfillment. But we understand that we are part of a community. So for the needs of the veterans in our program, if we identify something that may be outside of our mission, instead of having mission creep and trying to be all encompassing for what everybody needs, we understand there's people who have much better expertise than we do in certain areas. And that's why it's important for us to be collaborative in the community and work well with others and introduce the veterans to expand their resource net and their network, their personal network. We want to be supportive of all veterans in our program 100%. And that's just not in their educational, but also, like I said, building that rapport, getting to know them, bringing them into the Wyakin family, getting to know them on a personal level. And that's what we love about having that long-term relationship with the veteran in our program, being on average 3.5 years, some shorter, some longer, but we really do get to know them. So we be supportive in all aspects of their well-being. We want to make sure everybody's safe, have those resources available, have an area where they can come and know that they can, you know, as some of us need the chance just to close the door and vent a little bit, because it is challenging, it is frustrating moving through transition. And we hope, you know, by feeling that safe environment, they can develop those resiliency skills to handle every needs they have. We want to be innovative. We want to, you know, look at everybody as an individual and help them achieve, maybe not through the standard means. You know, it's not just like, well, you want a new career, go to school. No, it's really about what you want to do in your career and finding the tools they need to satisfy meeting those demands. Um, we want to be balanced. We don't want to put everybody into just like a check the box type scenario. We want to treat them as individuals and find out their individual needs and address them on those individual levels. We want to be genuine. We want to make sure that we do what we say we do, and we're meeting the needs of the veterans in the program. And we want to be focused on an individual level and really help develop a person holistically.
You know,
Now,
I'm just
yeah,
going to mention here, one of the great things about the program is the mentors that you provide. So not only you as a advisor there at Wyakin, but you assign them both a professional mentor and a community mentor. And I was recently a community mentor for one of your warriors, and I must admit it's both fulfilling on my side, and I hope that she was fulfilled on her side. But it gives them a chance with the professional mentor to have somebody in their line of work that they're going into to introduce them to people in the community and give them some opportunities that they might not otherwise have. And then as a community mentor, just kind of helping them through some of the obstacles out there. So I don't know if you want to say anything more about that.
I was actually just going to say that. Thank you, George, for that. And Mitzi, thank you for that. And thanks for being a mentor. I was going to hit on that and let Chelsea tell a little bit about that. I wanted to follow up real quick, too, with some of George's stuff is that personal touch that we provide and the collaboration. So we had a pretty big honor this last couple weeks ago. We were nominated and are being awarded as an honoree as outstanding nonprofit here in Idaho. We, to my knowledge, are the only veteran service organizations since the inception of 2017 to receive that. While we don't get wrapped up in awards and stuff, it does mean something to us because that award is based on collaboration with other organizations in the community. And it's not just other veteran service organizations that we collaborate with to ensure that our veterans are supported in every means that they can be, but we've worked with Life's Kitchen, which Mitzi's warrior that she mentored put together a program. Life's Kitchen works with at-risk youth. And so it was a real great opportunity for a veteran to give back in a community impact project where it was directly benefiting young kids to look up to that, who actually, full circle, we now have a warrior who attended Life's Kitchen, who has, you know, since left the military. But to Mitzi's point, one of the key important things, not just for Wyakin, but for veterans in general, is a supportive and understanding network of mentors. This could be professional, this could be community, this could just be friends who are willing to drive them. But Chelsea, who does an outstanding job of matching up our mentors with our warriors, I think we have almost over 60 mentors and always looking for more. But Chelsea does a great job of doing that. And I'm going to let her tell a little bit about that process of the program.
Well, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Mitzi, for sharing about mentorship. I'm glad you did because I wanted to chime in about it. Obviously, personally, one of my favorite parts of the program. So the Wyakin Foundation partners veterans with a community mentor, as Mitzi mentioned. as they come into the program to work on their personal growth. And this is really important because that community mentor can really help them start thinking strategically about their long-term goals, can help with problem solving, can help with personal life balance, which all of those factors are so important in their success in school and ultimately in their transition to the next career. So we look for people mostly who have a passion for seeing a veteran succeed. You can have a wide range of backgrounds. We don't stipulate what your career path had to have been. It's really about being interested in making a very personal connection with a veteran. The duration of a mentorship is on average 3 years, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer, but we do use the 3-year average because that's about how long most warriors are in the program, and we want a mentor to be with them for their duration that they're in school and in our program. I'll say though, honestly, a good mentorship becomes very natural, and that commitment in time, I'm sure Mitzi can do a test, is really easy, very natural. We try to be very intentional about our pairings. We look at the veteran, we look at the community mentor. What does the veteran need? What do they hope to achieve? And what does the community mentor bring? And personalities, maybe aligned interests, and pair them up. Career goals don't have to align because, as Mitzi mentioned, they do get a professional mentor a year outside of graduation. So once they've kind of fine-tuned what they hope to go into, we're able to put them with someone in that industry who can give them insider knowledge onto that particular career field and network them. And that's so big. We all know it's not a matter of what you know, it's a matter of who you know. And so that professional mentor can really help them leverage a network to get the career that they ultimately want. Because we hope that when they graduate, it's not a case of floundering and going, well, what now? It's an excitement about what's next. And so that's really important to us, and it's part of the whole process. I will add, in addition, that we have on our alumni association so that warriors, even after they graduate, can continue to access professional development support. So as they continue to grow in their careers, we acknowledge that how many people go into a job and just stay in that job for forever. Like, they're going to grow, they're going to want to go for a promotion, they might go for a new job, they might need to negotiate salary. And all of these things are things that they may not know how to do. Otherwise, negotiating salary especially can be a tricky subject. So we make sure that all of the support we provided, even when they were in school, is available to them as alumni, because we're really in it for life. That's why it's called Wyakin for Life. It's appropriately named. So if anybody is interested in being a mentor, I would more than happy grab a coffee with you, meet with you over Teams, whatever. I do manage the onboarding process for mentorship, and I would love to talk to you. So I'm going to drop my email in the chat so you can send me a message if you're interested.
Thank you, Chelsea. Just a couple things on the program itself that we love to highlight, because it's a testament to the veterans that are coming through our program. Currently, we have about 83% of the veterans in our educational program, which we call the Classic Wyakin program. 83% of them are in a STEM or medical related field of study right now. And so if you know what the employment industry is like out there, a high demand of nursing, and also a high demand of those STEM jobs, engineering and so forth. The other piece of our program, which is the Wyakin Works, is where we have expanded over the last year and a half, supporting, and Mitzi's veteran, Irene, was in the Wyakin Works. And what that is a focus on trade skills. We recognize that even in the civilian world, college isn't for everybody, but there are so many great career paths and opportunities to success, not just for the civilian, but for veterans. And so we created the Wyakin Works program to help navigate that system of getting into those vocational trades. So Mitzi's warrior ended up getting a culinary arts degree certification. I'm not up on the culinary arts, so I burn most of the food I cook, but I know that she's very talented, and she's looking to now have her own food truck. So not only did she go into a trade, she's also now an entrepreneur, which created an opportunity for us to collaborate with like the Veterans Entrepreneur Alliance. So we have other trades. We also do the Wyakin Wheels. So we supported a veteran who just really couldn't find what he wanted to do in life. He was stuck. He had health restrictions that kept him from doing normal jobs. He thought, hey, if I could, maybe driving a semi tractor trailer is what's best for me. We were able to help support that veteran get his CDL certification, and it has changed his life. To hear him speak about now having a career, a purpose, and it's something as simple as that. So those two paths, we have these two paths to success as they define it. Those are some of the most important pieces of what I think we do here at Wyakin, ensuring that the support is there so that they accomplish the goals that they're wanting. In addition to that, we've served about 150 veterans since 2011. Over 90%, I think the current number with our recent graduation of 8 veterans in May, 9, 10, I think we're at 10 now because some graduated at the beginning of the fall here. We have over 92% of our veterans have gone into what they define as success for their lives since 2011. That's a pretty amazing, that's something that we don't take lightly. That's an amazing testament to our veterans. We have almost double the graduation rate of the national average. So our warriors not only are graduating college at a higher rate than their peers outside of the Wyakin Foundation nationally, but they're also now, after completing their bachelor's degrees or their undergrad, they're now going and getting master's degrees. We currently have 3 doctorates, folks in a doctorate program right now. And all their stories started almost similarly, where they just had no idea what they wanted to do, but they were given the tools and the support to go to the next level, and they utilized it, and it really was a hand up and not a handout. And so that's what we love about what we do. If you have the opportunity to meet any of our staff, we could talk about the Wyakin Foundation all day, but what we could also talk about is our relationship with the other great organizations in the community, and not only locally, but we have veterans in Texas, Arizona. We just got one in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Montana. And so we're here to serve veterans. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you find us, we're going to be there for you, and we're going to find a mentor for you, and we're going to help get you where you need to be. And that's something that personally I love about working with this team. So, and veterans.
Sounds great. Yeah. We've only got a couple minutes here, but one thing I want to touch on, because all of us that have successful careers and are out in the community know that everything that you've talked about, mentors, that community, that is all very, very important, and it's part of our success. But a lot of times when veterans are looking around at different programs and things, or thinking, do I want to take on this additional thing? It comes down to money and how it might benefit them monetarily. And you guys do offer a stipend and things. Do you want to touch on that? Because I think that
Sure.
that's an important part of the program too.
Yep. No, and that is an important part. And let me lead up to that. I mean, everything that we do is free to our veterans. We don't charge them for anything, unless they want an extra baseball cap that are just now out. Sometimes they'll have to get one of those, but no. So we provide two sources of financial assistance. We have our engagement grants, which is focused on it's to ensure that our veterans know that they have to do some of the work. They got to meet us in the middle. So they have to continue. It's a monthly grant that they receive to kind of help offset some expenses of being a full-time student. So if they meet the required engagement for that quarter, they'll receive the full grant each month. So like I said, it's a little bit on them, which we have a good problem right now because everybody has been so engaged. We're paying the most out monthly than we ever have. So that's a good thing. But what we also have is an emerging grant, and that is money that they have access to should something come up in life, like the rest of us. My tires, I need new tires, or my vehicle breaks down, or I need first and last month's rent, or I need a down payment on this, or I have medical expenses, or my kid needs something. And so we provide that to them that they don't ever have to pay back. And that's one of those eliminating barriers to success, because there is a choice, right? I mean, when you are a full-time student or you have kids and these things come up, it's nice to know that you're going to have a little bit of this, which also helps them budget. If they're getting the education grant on a monthly basis, okay, I know I'm going to get X amount of money so I can plan this. And so we try to provide that. George said earlier that we don't mission drift, which is true, but we wrote a grant last year because we had two veterans who were going to school, but they were homeless. So we wrote a grant to see what we could do to help them. That grant has turned out to be a blessing, and we have actually been able to support veterans not only in our program, but outside of our program with housing support because of this great foundation. And we're hoping that they'll come back again this year at a higher level. And while we will not change our mission to, trying to do that more so, it's just a matter of an opportunity to eliminate some of those barriers. So that's another thing. So Mitzi, but yes, we pride ourselves on being able to help where that is available also.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, George, Corey, and Chelsea for joining us this morning. Chelsea has put their contact information in the chat, and then I will also send that out on the meeting recap. But I would encourage everybody to look into their program so that you are aware of it, and they are doing great things over there and great people to work with.
Thank you so much, everybody, for having us.
Okay. A guest that I am bringing in here, this is kind of transpired this week. I would like to introduce Brian Losness from Operation Fill the Box. Are you still with us, Brian?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. Brian reached out to me a few weeks ago, and we've been talking, and he's brought some other community members in, and this weekend we are launching Operation Fill the Box. And do you want to tell us more about that, Brian?
Sure. First of all, thank you, Mitzi, for having me and giving me just a few moments with your group here. This is going to sound really cliche, but this whole thing started at my wife and I's kitchen table. Our son is a member of the 116th. They're obviously been deployed over to Southwest Asia. And my wife goes, well, we need to put something together for him for Christmas. I went, yeah. And a couple of his buddies, he went to school at BK. And a couple of his friends also joined the Guard. I said, well, we'll have to do something for Keegan and for Adam. And she goes, yeah. And she goes, we've done enough fundraising stuff at BK and other places. She said, we should just do something for everybody. And when you've been married for 33 years and you've been with a person for 36 years, when she says something, you go, yes, ma'am, 3 bags full, and away we go with the thing. And so that's how this whole thing started. And I first reached out to the PIO out at the Guard, who put me in contact with the service member and family support folks, and that would be Diane and Glenn. And we had a meeting with them, and then the next thing you know, we're having another meeting, and I reached out to the folks at Mission 43, and they're like, yeah, that's cool. Let's jump on board. And then one thing led to another, and now, we have Operation Grateful Hearts, MWR, Mitzi's organization. They've all kind of jumped in on this thing. And what we're doing is we're going to send 1,050 gift boxes to everybody deployed, from the Idaho National Guard. And we're going to make sure that it's not just the folks that are with the Idaho Guard, but everybody that's in that task force. So there's some folks there from North Carolina, folks from Iowa or Ohio, and some from Oregon. So we're looking at about 1,050, and that's what we're going to do. And so our attack is kind of two-pronged, to use a military vernacular. We are looking for community engagement, folks to go out, and what we're trying to do is get these boxes put together, and on our Facebook page, on our Instagram page, and we're using a medium-sized #1 USPS flat rate box, and we're doing that because of continuity when we get ready to ship. We have a list of everything, and we went through all the organizations and huge help of what we can and can't ship over, and all of that is listed on our Facebook page at Operation Fill the Box. And we're encouraging people to go ahead and fill those boxes, and we have places that we're going to go ahead and stage them up at. The folks at Grateful Hearts have been very wonderful in giving us basically part of their storage facility, which is over at the old Snake River Yamaha in Meridian. And they said, yeah, you can have this whole building to store everything in. So that's the first prong. The other prong, obviously, is we're going to have to fundraise to ship this stuff. And that's kind of a big nut, but it's 10 grand that we need to come up with to ship this stuff. But I have a shipper, and that's what this gentleman does, is he ships stuff for the military. So he understands everything that needs to take place, how it has to be shipped, how it has to be boxed, because there are a litany of restrictions on what we can and cannot ship over there. And that's part of the reason we're using that warehouse over there at Snake River, because we have to go through all these boxes just to make sure that these items, we don't want this thing to fall apart because somebody inadvertently put something that's restricted into these boxes. So there's quite a few moving parts, but we're determined. My wife, like I said, we're a team. She's the organization, and I'm the silly one who's not has zero fear about cold calling folks, And so I'll do that. And I have done that with numerous folks in the community, and I have gotten a lot of positive responses there. I've got people go, yeah, we're on board. What do you need? And so that, and that's great, but I need some more of that too. We need to push this thing together. And the other thing I want to say is that if we fundraise above and beyond the amount of money we need to ship this stuff over to Kuwait, we plan on it, and we tell everybody up front, when you donate, that anything left over is going to be divvied up amongst the nonprofits at an equal amount. Now, if that's $1, great. If it's $1,000, great. $5, whatever the amount is, it's going to be divvied up. So we want to give back, for your help. So that's kind of the Reader's Digest version of what we got going on.
Okay. Well, those of us in the military and veteran community know that the 116th is deployed right now. I think sometimes that the civilians out in the community forget about that. And so I think this is a good opportunity for all of us to spread the word and to get the community involved and things, because we still have our loved ones overseas and in danger, and the 116th are our citizen soldiers that are in our community that we work alongside of every day, and our sons and daughters. So I hope that everybody will jump on board with this. I'll send out all of the information, and we'll give you updates along the way too. And like I said, Joining Forces is on board with this to help Brian and his wife get this going. And it's not just them; they've pulled in all the right people. So I'm enthusiastic to support this.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian. Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, just one other thing. So obviously we're going to try to kick this thing off.
Oh,
But,
yes. Let's do timeline here.
Yeah. And we're going to kick this thing off this weekend. I've got a radio interview here in a few minutes with Kevin Miller, so we're going to be talking about that. and I've been in contact with a couple other media outlets to talk about this. But on the 6th of November, which is the day, which is a Sunday after the November 5th Veterans Parade, we're going to have a one more community engagement where people can come down and help put boxes together and help us get everything put, get ready for that final push. And as soon as we can get that site squared away and where we can do this, and I'll let you know, Mitzi, and then we'll push that out to everybody. But it's kind of like our last final push. When we figured if it was on the weekend of the Veterans Parade, I think it would be a good tie-in with that.
Sounds great. And we're launching it this weekend, October 15th, and then all the items will be in by November 15th to meet our deadlines for shipping.
That's
so
correct.
We've got a month here to get this done. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So, okay, thank you very much, Brian.
Mitzi, you accidentally muted yourself.
There. Sorry about that. Our next surprise guest that we are happy to have, I'm going to introduce my boss, Mark Champel. He is the Chief Administrator of the Idaho Division of Veteran Services. And he will introduce one of our new employees. Mark?
Hi, good morning, everybody. It's great to see everybody joined here together today, and I want to say a big thanks to the Wyakin Foundation for their presentation. It was awesome. The work that you guys do is fantastic, so it's great to have you guys highlighted today. I want to make an introduction. As many of you probably know, James Earp, who has been our bureau chief at the Boise Cemetery and oversaw our Blackfoot Cemetery as well, has left us, and he actually went to the federal VA cemetery group in Washington, D.C., where he will continue to do fantastic work for us. He's specifically working with the grants programs in Washington, D.C. for basically all the federal and state veteran cemeteries across the nation. So we're super excited that he went on to bigger and better things, and that he's essentially still part of the team to help us with our cemeteries. But I want to introduce his replacement, who has joined us. His name is Jeremy Gilbert. He is an Army veteran, and he comes with a very, very long list of awesome skills and abilities to help us with our cemeteries here in Idaho. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Jeremy Gilbert and let him talk a little bit about himself and his background.
Thanks, Mark, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak to everybody today. So good morning I'm actually on the East Coast right now. I'm I've been kind of out of the loop for a little bit, dealing with some stuff out here. So I'm glad that I get to at least see some faces and introduce myself to the group. My name is Jeremy Gilbert. I come from previous employment. I was with U.S. Bank as a facility and project manager. And before that, I worked in the nonprofit and law sectors. And once upon a time, I was in the Army. I was an infantry officer for quite a few years. Did some time in the 75th Ranger Regiment, the 2nd Cavalry Regiment in Germany, and the 3rd Infantry Regiment, which is the Honor Guard in Arlington National Cemetery. So I have some experience with both the kinetic side of the military and the memorial affairs and ceremony side of the military. So I'm really excited to step into this role and be able to interact with all of you as part of the VA system. So pretty excited about that.
That's great. Okay. We are really looking forward to having you in the office. I know everywhere I go, everybody is asking about the new guy and office, and we really look forward to that. I will mention coming up on November 2nd at the Idaho State Veteran Cemetery in Boise, we are going to have a group honors ceremony, and I did send out a flyer on that to Joining Forces. I'll include a link again when I send out the recap, but each year we have a certain number of burials that don't receive honors at the time of burial or interment, and it may be because the family wasn't available in town at that time. Possibly the family lives somewhere else, but the burial was here. We also have I believe 6 veterans this year that came to us from the Ada County Coroner's Office that had absolutely no next of kin no formal services given. We do a group honors, and we will have each branch of the service out there doing their honor guard, doing a flag folding, and we will read the names of each of those individuals. And currently, I believe we have 61 individuals that we will be reading their names. And I would like to mention and thank Gary Randall. He's a regular Joining Forces attendee. He is going to represent the Marine Corps and read the names of our Marine Corps veterans. Milt Smith, who many of you know, will be reading the names of the Navy veterans. Phil Hawkins, who we all know and love, will be reading the Army names. And then, let's see, who am I? Air Force, Tom Ressler, who works with us very closely, will also be there, and he'll read the Air Force names. So I hope that everybody will come out for that. It'll be a very somber ceremony, but we are the family to the veterans in our community, and so let's represent our family members out there that day. Okay, Mark, would you like to say anything else? Jeremy?
Yeah, I just like to say that while I'm not there in person, everybody can feel free to connect with me if they need to remotely. Happy to have a conversation with you. I'm going to drop my email in the chat here so everybody has it, but love to connect offline and maybe do some one-on-ones if so that people don't have to wait until we can get together in person.
That's what we'll make that happen. Mark, do you have anything else you want to mention while we got you on the line?
Yeah, no, I appreciate giving me just a little bit of time, Mitzi. Again, super excited to have Jeremy join us as part of our team. Again, really excited to have him and the background that he brings with him to help us at the cemetery. So again, if you're one of the organizations that does a lot of volunteering or helping out at the cemetery, feel free to reach out to Jeremy and start making that connection. Again, we want to make sure that network is maintained and strong. Because again, a lot of the stuff that we do at the cemetery is really dependent on a lot of the organizations that are represented here on this call to come out and help and volunteer. So again, we appreciate that help and look forward to, again, continuing that relationship with Jeremy. The only other thing that I really want to throw out really quickly is we are about to open our 4th veteran nursing home in Post Falls, and that's actually where Mitzi is right now. And folks, this facility is phenomenal. It is brand new, state of the art. Every veteran's going to have their own bedroom and bathroom, private. And I mean, it really looks like a mountain lodge up in Post Falls. I do have an ask of everybody here. And one of the issues that we're running into is kind of a nationwide issue, and that is skilled nursing care. So we're talking about nurses, certified nurse assistants, the critical staff that actually do the day-to-day care of our veterans that will live in that home. We are having an extremely hard time finding those folks that want to and are willing to work. We have tried to be as competitive as we possibly can with the wages that we offer, and we actually are competitive up there. Mission than serving those veterans in those nursing homes. It's a great place to work. It's a great mission to have. It comes with just an absolute sense of enjoyment that doesn't exist in a lot of other jobs, especially if you're in the nursing career. It's way better than working in a hospital and getting burnt out. So again, my ask is if you know anybody up in northern Idaho, you got family members up there, you got other branches of your organization up there, please spread the word, get them in touch with me, get them in touch with Mitzi. We need that help. We need it ASAP. And so would love for everybody to kind of spread that word so that we can, again, care for as many veterans as we possibly can up there. But we need again, we need that skilled nursing staff to be able to do that. So thank you, Mitzi, for the time. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everything that everybody does on this call.
Okay. Mark, I'm just going to throw out too, it's not only Post Falls, but we have homes in Lewiston, Pocatello, and Boise, and our big push right now is Post Falls. But if you have people in that field in any of those cities, we have openings, especially in Boise, and we have waiting lists to get into the home. We have beds available unless we have the appropriate amount of staffing.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Mitzi. That's absolutely true. We have openings at all 4 of our homes. So again, whether they're in northern Idaho or eastern Idaho or southern Idaho or somewhere in the middle, we would love to have them. We'd love to have them join our team.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, so I'm going to throw out some events that I know about. I'm probably going to cold call on some people here, and then if you have an event coming up for Veterans Day, there's so much going on. I kind of wanted to concentrate on that. Feel free to throw it in the chat, and I'll call upon you. We are very excited that the Veterans Day Parade, or it's not Veterans Day, it's Veterans Parade, is returning to downtown Boise. We always have it the Saturday before Memorial Day, or I'm sorry, boy, my words are just turned upside down today. The Saturday before Veterans Day, and that's going to be Saturday, November 5th this year, starts at 10 a.m. downtown Boise. And right now, I believe we have 95 entries veterans organizations, high school bands, that sort of thing. So it is going to be a great parade, and I know that we'll have a good turnout because we've been absent the last 2 years because of COVID, and I think that that's one of the biggest questions in the community is the parade coming back, and it is. So please join us in downtown Boise on Saturday, November 5th. Gary, is happening on Saturday, November 5th. That evening is the ball. Would either one of you like to say anything about that? Nothing? Probably having microphone problems. I will send out the
Mitzi.
information about the Marine.
Mitzi,
Yeah.
why don't you turn off your camera, because your bandwidth isn't very good. So why don't you turn off your camera and just talk through the mic? That'll probably help, because you're breaking up quite a bit.
Okay.
Mitzi,
Okay.
Gary, were you talking to me?
Yep. Do you want to talk about the Marine Corps ball coming up on November 5th?
Yes, that's right. Marine Corps birthday ball this year will be on November 5th also. I think, Mitzi, you have order forms already. If you could post those, that would be great. Ticket order forms, that is. The cost this year is $60 per person, and it's going to be held at the center on the Grove, not the hotel, but down in the center itself. So if you're a Marine or you're interested in the Marine Corps or you just want to have a good time, we certainly encourage you to come and join us at the Marine Corps Birthday Ball this year, 247th anniversary of the Marine Corps.
Hoorah!
That hoorah. I will be there with my favorite Marine, my daughter, and her to seeing everybody out there. Let's see, Mindy Anderson with the Idaho Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Put some information. Mindy, do you want to tell us what you have going on the week of Veterans Day in November?
Yeah, so we have the week of 7th through the 11th is actually National Veteran Small Business Week, and it's recognized throughout the entire country. So we've partnered up with Department of Commerce, we've partnered up with Kiln over in Meridian, which is this really cool new remote office space location where people can come and set up their office for a day, or just use it throughout the month. It's if you haven't been out there, it's right there on the Eagle exit when you get off of the highway. It's one of the big buildings out there that they built up. So we kick off our week there in the evening, and we have franchising workshops, we have investment workshops for business owners, we have what's the other one? We're working with the Department of Defense to help support military installations that are being required now by the Air Force to do business with local businesses right outside their installations, to help support bringing business back to the states in which the military installations reside, which is pretty exciting. We're launching our diversity supplier campaign, where we're going to be getting veteran business owners more out into some of the larger companies to be able to get more contracts, work with local businesses like Idaho Power, INL, Coca-Cola, just a couple of others. We also have our pitch competition, our first ever in the state of Idaho for veterans, where we have investors that are going to come and hear some really cool inventions and patents that are out there across Idaho. And then we have our annual state luncheon. It's actually our inaugural one, and it's our first one. We're going to have our ribbon cutting ceremony because we haven't been able to have one with COVID. And so we're just going to report out on all of our grants that we've received and talk about our year in review, and then talk about what the second year of our federal and state grants look like and what we'll be doing there. There's a couple of other programs that we're going to be launching across the state. We have a Battle Buddy mentorship network that we're establishing, and then we also have a shipmate ambassador program that we're establishing that's going to be more embedded in the chambers and the different organizations across the communities in Idaho. So we're looking forward to this week where we can start expanding our reach more across the state through the programs we'll be launching.
Okay, that's great. Lots going on over there at the chamber. Let's see here. I'm going to call on Wendy Joe with Operation going on, gearing up towards the Christmas holiday and Thanksgiving. And do you have anything you want to let us know about?
Thanks, Mitzi. We have a lot going on. This is our busy season right now. The next 2 weekends, we are selling pumpkins at the old Snake River Yamaha building off Fairview and Eagle to raise money for our Christmas program. Then we'll be helping starting October 15th through the November 15th. We'll be helping with Fill the Box. And moving into Thanksgiving, we will be giving meals and working with partners to help some of our families. And then at Christmas, we kick off the week of Veterans Day. We will be looking for sponsors for families. This year will be a great need with having our folks deployed, and we need to love on those families. So we've got quite a few to sponsor. So we'll be looking for sponsors starting Veterans Day, and we'll get the families out around Thanksgiving. And then we will support 150 plus families by December 18th.
Yeah, that is incredible. And I love that you take care of the families of those that are deployed, whether you're active duty or guard. It's always important to remember the families, but I think as I was talking about before with the guard members, there are neighbors and our coworkers and things, and we don't expect them to deploy like people in the full-time military. And when I say we don't expect them to deploy, our regular civilians out in the community don't expect that or anticipate it. And so we have a lot of families that don't have their loved ones here right now, and it's great that you take care of them while they're gone.
Yes, the whole family sacrifices, and with those stressful situations, we want to make sure that Christmas is as stress-free as it can be. So we're going to love on them and let them know we're here to support them.
That's great. Okay, Bill Fackler, I see that you're on the call. I'm going to call you out and let you maybe mention what you've got going on over there with the retiree program. I know next Wednesday is your monthly retiree gathering. Are you there, Bill? Okay. Out at the oh, he does not have a microphone, he says. So I will talk for Bill. Out at the Idaho National Guard once a month, they have a retiree gathering, and it is the third Wednesday of each month. And if you were in the National Guard or Reserves serving out there at Gowan Field, you are invited to come. I will include Bill's contact information. He has an email list that you can get on to be aware of when those events are coming up. And they're doing a great job, including the retirees out there. And again, we're all one big family, and taking care of the people that are no longer serving our veterans is as important as taking care of those that are still serving, because it's those shared experiences that are going to help everybody through their times of troubles. So Dan Ashley, well, let's see, Dan is on the call. What does the Vet Center have coming up over the next month or so?
Mitzi, how did I know you were going to call on me?
Because you always have something going on, so I'm always going to call and check in.
That's right. So yeah, we've been busy. Just this week, I was at Elevate, appreciating our veterans and first responders that is done on the 11th of every month. I was also at Mountain Home Air Force Base doing presentations during the TAP for those airmen that'll be getting out within the next 12 months. The mobile vet center vehicle is going to be in the Veterans Parade here in Boise. And then the following week, it's going down to Idaho Falls area and will be in the Veterans Parade that following weekend. So the MVC is going to be busy. I'm going to be going up into Twin Falls on the 17th and meeting up with the Joining Forces group over there. And then also going over to McCall later that week, and we'll stop into council in McCall area and just kind of remind them of our services. We do a lot of virtual, what we call VVC, so virtual sessions that we can do to outlying areas that may have to travel great distances, or we can't get the mobile unit up there, and they can call in and we can do a session over video conferencing so that those veterans still have an avenue for them to talk to someone. We were working on trying to get a little social event for football, but that's still in the making. So I'll see if we're able to do that or not. We were going to try to have people wear their favorite shirt, come out and pick their Super Bowl predictions, but we're still working that. So, but we have to hurry because almost half the season's going to be done here soon.
Well, I'm sure you'll come up with something. You usually have some sort of tailgate event each year, so we'll look forward to that.
Yeah, it's been hard because of COVID and restrictions. So, but yeah, we would like to do something if we can. I'll let you know.
Okay, sounds great. Emily Fakins with Veterans and Patriots Association. I'm sure you weren't expecting me to call upon you, but if you want to say a few words about Veterans and Patriots, you guys are doing a lot of great things and are a good organization to call upon if an existing organization needs some help with people on the ground. Do you want to say anything about that?
I do. So I want to apologize because I just came out of the doctor. I had to get an x-ray on my leg. But yeah, so some of us have not. We're a local chapter here in the Treasure Valley. So our mission is to help and find ways in the Treasure Valley to help our local veterans, but not just our veterans, our patriots and our first responders. So we're going beyond veterans right now. So we're always looking for ways to get out there in the community, ways to team up forces to make things happen for our local veterans, patriots, and first responders. So if you have any ideas, thoughts, reach out to me. We're on Facebook. We have a informational email. I can actually put all that information in the chat if you would like as well. Our event season has ended in the sense of for sponsors, but we're still out in the communities to support everyone else for the rest of this year. So we don't have any upcoming events per se, but we definitely are here for support and to get out in the communities, help advertise, help put stuff together, join forces, that sort of thing.
That's great. Yeah, I do want to mention in June when we had the big fundraising event for the Idaho Women's Veterans Memorial out in Caldwell, VPA came out. They brought about 20 of their members out and did traffic control for us, helped with some other things out there. And they just like to be involved in what's going on. And so don't hesitate to reach out to Emily. I'll include her information when I send out the update. And they are a great group of people to get to know. Anytime I see one of their events, I try to at least stop by because there's going to be a fun time to be had.
Thank you, Mitzi.
Okay, Dave Fisher with Idaho Veterans Network. I'm going to just kind of cold call on you to give us an update on what's going on with IVN.
Hey, thanks, Mitzi. You know, one of the things that we've been involved in here fairly regularly lately is just direct help for veterans in need, whether it's moving help or financial aid, some financial expenses and utilities, fuel cards, hotel expenses for folks. I think that's one of the things that we kind of pride ourselves in, is just being light on our feet so that we can respond quickly to those kinds of situations. So I appreciate your help and some others in just linking us up with folks that need that kind of help, and they need it really quickly. And we're happy to do that where we can. We had a very successful annual ride at the end of last month. It was great. We appreciate everybody giving us support on that. We felt a lot of love on that, and we're happy to have some 80 riders registered for that event, and really appreciate the camaraderie and just the opportunity to be together. It was a great event. It was a good fundraiser for us, and we had a great time. So thank you for that. Going forward, one thing I would like to mention is our next edition of the IVN newspaper is coming out in about 2 weeks, I think. And we'll be distributing that paper all over the state. It's probably our largest edition. And again, it has some really great content. And I would be interested in anyone who's joining us from outlying areas beyond the Treasure Valley. I did a trip up through central and northern Idaho to meet folks and try to solidify some of our distribution channels for the paper. But we want to make sure that everybody's got a chance to get a paper and to share the content and read it and enjoy it. So if you're not getting that, just give me a heads up, and I'll be happy to make sure that you get onto our distribution list. Most of you, I think, are, and if you're in the Treasure Valley, we're certainly going to hit most of those locations, but we do know that there are some remote areas that are not getting papers, and we're going to try to plug those holes and gaps as we go along here. Going forward, we also want to do stories about you, about the organizations that are working in the veteran community within Idaho to better the lives of our veterans. So we're going to be asking you for some stories and some experiences that you're having with vets for our next edition coming up in the spring. And we're excited about that. And we hope you'll work with us to get us some stories about your organization so that we can feature them. And we'll just continue to do that as we go along, edition after edition. We do one every spring and one every fall. So we're looking forward to this next one coming out here real quick. Thank you, Mitzi.
Yeah, thank you. You know, I do want to mention, for every email that I send out as a request for help, that all of you generously respond to, there are probably anywhere from 10 to 20 requests a week that I don't send out via email, that I contact organizations directly, and IVN has been one of those. They are great at responding spur of the moment to, we've had a lot of car repairs and mechanical problems lately, that sort of thing. And you guys are good at vetting that out and have some good mechanic contacts out in the community and things. But you know, I do want to mention that they are a great resource. I'll include Dave's information when I send out the update. But you guys have really stepped up, and I do appreciate it.
And I'll pop my email into the chat window as well.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, I do want to mention that for November, our regular meeting would have been scheduled Thursday, November 10th, but I'm going to cancel our meetings in November just because there is so much going on that week with Veterans Day, and all of us need to be out in the community with our veterans, helping them where the need is and celebrating their service. So no meeting in November. In place of the November meeting, not on the 10th, but on Tuesday, November 1st at the Warhawk Museum, Sue Paul has asked me to organize a presentation highlighting just a few, which I wish I could highlight everybody on this call and everybody with joining forces, but I've picked out 5 or 6 organizations that I think that the attendees of the Kilroy Coffee Klatch that the Warhawk has each month are going to be very interested in, so we'll have that presentation. So if you are in the area and have never checked out the Kilroy Coffee Klatch, first Tuesday of each month, I will be in charge of the program that day, and we'll have several of our joining forces members speaking also. The Coffee Klatch starts at 10 a.m. They say the doors open at 9:30, but I think they're starting to open them at 9 because the turnout is just incredible. And if you don't know, the Kilroy Coffee Klatch is the largest regular gathering of veterans in the state of Idaho, and they usually have over 200 veterans there. And it is it's a good way to start off the month because it really recharges your batteries. This last month we had 3 World War II veterans in attendance. There's usually about a dozen or more Korean War veterans. The majority of the attendees are Vietnam era, but we're also getting a lot of the younger Global War on Terror veterans attending, and active duty military and things. So please come out, and you'll get to know some of our joining forces members a little bit better on that. And we'll go from there. So our next in-person meeting will be on Thursday, December 8th. That will be at the Simplot offices there in the Jump Complex. And I thank Bob Wheeler for organizing that, and I'll get more information out about that. And that particular meeting, we are going to talk about community outreach and involvement and what our different organizations are doing, and kind of give some tips and help to other organizations to know how they can do some outreach there. So we will see you in person December 8th, and I hope everybody just has a fantastic Veterans Day. I know I'll be seeing you out in the community, and I'm really looking forward to what we have planned that week. So, okay, everybody have a great day, and we will see you at the next event.
Thanks, Mitzi.
Thank you.